The truth is, treasure is all around us. In the music of the morning, in the sunlight bleeding through the stained glass windows, in the words spoken by our friends. This portion of the Gospel of Matthew starts out with something unique, something about, not so much about treasure, but about life. It starts out with the words about concerning fasting. Some of us have tried fasting. You do know, don't you, that according to our ancestors, the ancients, they would fast about 5 different fasts, maybe 6. Our Judean ancestors would have about 5 or 6 different yearly fasts. Some of those fasts lasted up to 10 days. Our ancestors, also the Pharisees, those individuals within the church, the synagogues, the temples, they were charged to fast 2 times a week, Tuesdays and about Thursdays for the whole day. A priest here in Hayes, about 30 years ago, when he came to preach here at Hayes First United Methodist Church, the Reverend Bill Miller was the very first one to engage here at the Methodist Church in that conversation with a priest. A priest of that same order, nearly 30 years ago, made comment to his parishioners up at St. Joe that he found himself getting closer to God as he fasted. There's some truth in that. I believe that's probably why Jesus starts talking about some of the matters that are close at our heart by looking at first fasting, helping us open a window to devotion for God. If the priest was right 30 years ago, if the Messiah was right 2,000 years ago, one of the windows that we may open and discover about life devoted to God is on fasting. Some of us might not particularly want to discover what it's like to fast from food. Others of us might not want to learn what it's like to fast from activity. There are individuals right in this room that are powerfully good at multitasking. You ever heard of that? I think I know some of you, and I'm not going to come to you directly, but some of us are powerful. We are spectacular at multitasking, doing multiple things at the same time. The Messiah didn't have the word for multitasking. He did have a word for what we need to do, and that is to fast. The practice of the ancients was to fast from food. The practice of the moderns might be to practice from refraining from eating food, fasting, but it also might be refraining from those things that keep us so busy, where we're doing multiple things all at the same time. The Messiah is pretty clear. It is the window into a devoted life. If you want to choose a devoted life, find your way toward fasting. Fasting from food, refraining from some kind of activity that's keeping you and your sights on the Messiah. Robert and Alice attended a Methodist school back in 1934 and 35. It was in Williamston, Pennsylvania. It still is. It's called Lycoming Methodist College. It's probably got the words United Methodist in front of it now. But back when Robert and Alice were attending school, it was Lycoming Methodist College. Robert was studying chemistry. They were well known for chemistry. Lycoming was then and still is now. Robert, however, didn't find work in chemistry. He found work in the steel mills in Pennsylvania. He would go to work every morning. Alice would make him a lunch. She would wrap his sandwich in wax paper and send it with him in a brown bag, along with some other items for his lunch. He would take the liberty of buying something there. He says, I like orange soda pop. So he would buy orange soda pop. He didn't always have the exact change, so he would then get that change and put it in his pocket. Every evening, however, he would come home to a pickle jar, not too much different than this pickle jar. He would come home and he would drop the change into the pickle jar. Every evening was the same ritual, same routine. Robert found his way to the pickle jar with his change, and over time, weeks, months, years that lay ahead for Robert and Alice, the pickle jar became full several times. He was storing that then at a local bank. He would take that pickle jar full of change, full of coin, and he would turn it into the bank account. He was, he says, storing up treasure on earth. Robert was featured in one of the alumni magazines from Lycoming because Robert Jr. went to Lycoming College as well. Second generation type of thing. Here is Robert Jr. going to college. Why? Because his father stored up treasure on earth. He was able to bank all of that coin and pay for his son Junior's education to Lycoming College in Pennsylvania. Robert Jr. wrote another article just about 2 years ago about what he's doing. He didn't follow his father's footsteps into steel industry. He followed a different pathway. He made several wise investments after he left Lycoming College, and he is now a philanthropist. He is now helping a lot of people. He said, I still have the pickle jar that Dad used to use, but it's not filled with any coins. For I've made a decision, he said. I've made a decision to store up for myself treasure in heaven. I want to give away as much as I possibly can. I don't need much. I can help people with my gifts. A life of loyalty to things divine is Robert Jr.'s motto now. His mother and father are both deceased, but he still makes a point of picking out that pickle jar every once in a while, reminding himself that we can store up for ourselves treasures on earth, or we can keep that pickle jar empty and store up for ourselves treasures in heaven. He is supporting many, many United Methodist causes all across the globe. He also says that it's an important feature that he has to keep an eye on God. Not because anybody needs to keep an eye on God, but he needs to keep his focus on God. He opened a window of opportunity for him, and he took it, and now he needs to keep that devotion to God. Robert Jr. says, it's the optic nerve of the soul. The passage from Matthew is pointing out the fact that the eye needs to focus on God. The soul needs to focus on things divine of God. You